First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Welcome to WUFT News' First at 5. I'm Serra, Sowers.
And I'm Sandra McDonald. Thanks for joining us. Alachua County Fire Rescue is taking over the Micanopy Fire Department. WUFT's reporter Alexa Herrera tells us what this means for the town.
The fire department has been struggling to staff people, but now the county's fire rescue team will provide around-the-clock staff and new equipment. Micanopy, like many other small towns, has struggled to recruit firefighters. Since Alachua Fire Rescue has a larger budget and staff, town officials asked if they could take over the department. Micanopy Fire Lieutenant Samuel Shai says the staffing issues are widespread.
It's not just Micanopy, it's not just Alachua County, it's not Gainesville, it's not Marion County. Every place is hurting for firefighters. We don't have enough firefighter EMTs and paramedics throughout the state, period.
Many people don't want to be firefighters because of how demanding the job is. Over 400 hours of training are required for what some people consider their second job. Alachua Fire Rescue will be able to provide the staff and resources needed. The team consists of 300 employees and has a $70 million budget. 3 people will be permanently staffed here from Alachua County Fire Rescue. They will be putting on 100 pounds of equipment just like this to continue serving the community. The Micanopy department will be their 16th station and will have $1.6 million to spend. Alachua County Fire Rescue Chief Harold Theus says he's glad town officials reached out to help solve the problem.
I want to thank the elected officials for the town of Micanopy. Very difficult decision to give up your fire department. For a lot of small towns, their fire department is their identity. And so it took a lot for them to do that.
Micanopy's location off of Interstate 75 makes it a priority location for Alachua Fire Rescue. With the takeover, the department will get a new fire truck and a water tender that will put fires out faster. The new staff will start on Sunday. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Alexa Herrera, WUFT News.
A new freestanding emergency room is opening its doors to patients starting tomorrow, and we got a sneak peek of the new HCA Florida Silver Springs emergency room. The new ER serves the northeastern area of Ocala and features cutting-edge technology. There are 11 beds, including 1 trauma bay, radiology, and CAT scan rooms. CEO Alan Kesey says the new emergency room has created 50 new jobs, mainly taken by local residents. The variety of employees means the ER is ready for any type of patient.
We have ER nurses, ER doctors, always on staff, ready to go. Getting care for pediatric patients, adult patients, senior population. We're always available.
Florida HCA Hospital now has 4 emergency room branches serving the Ocala area. And residents in Gainesville have noticed a rise in rent prices. WUFT's Juan Chaoui shows us how this could be connected to gentrification.
When moving to Gainesville, one of the first things that many people take into consideration is the cost of rent. And recently, it has been rising significantly due to an increase in gentrification.
So gentrification involves a change in urban areas such that places, neighborhoods, blocks have increased in their value.
Stephen Pers is a professor of sociology and chair at the University of Florida and was able to give a basic rundown of what gentrification is.
Because of the rise in land values, you'll see a rise in rent, and you often see some turnover in who is in those gentrified parts of town.
And prices continue to rise. According to Zillow.com, the same apartment that could have been rented for $1,500 in August of 2022 costs over $200 more to rent now. As a result, some civilians, such as Judith Awoniyi, were forced to move into other neighborhoods.
So I was living at an apartment. I had been there for 2 years. What I had to pay per month went up astronomically, that I had to start looking for somewhere else to live. And I'm a single mom. I had to move in with my parents for a couple months while waiting on a wait list for another place that I found that was way more affordable.
Gentrification in Gainesville has also led to the question, how do we preserve the identity of Gainesville?
So there's a lot of valid debate about this both ways. And, this comes down to what local governments decide, and it becomes an issue for voters and things like that.
For now, it doesn't seem like the rate of gentrification is going to slow down anytime soon. So only time will tell what the future holds for the residents of Gainesville. Juan Chaoui, WUFT News.
And university police are warning students about an increase of crime on campus.
WUFT News reporter Serra is tracking this uptick in campus crime.
11 e-bikes and scooters have been reported stolen on campus so far this semester. Police say these items were locked, but criminals cut the locks in a majority of these cases. This news comes as UF releases its crime report for 2022. Theft was the most common crime at the University of Florida, with bicycles and e-scooters being the main target. UF student Thomas Curcio had his bike stolen and now follows simple safety tips.
I would recommend over long extended breaks, bring your bike inside. Don't leave your bike over spring break, winter break. I'd recommend just leave it in your apartment or dorm rather than leaving it outside. Just better safe than sorry.
Curcio says having his bike registered with UFPD and locking both wheels gives him peace of mind. Reporting live from the newsroom, Serra, WUFT News.
And the Columbia County K-9 deputy that went missing for more than 24 hours earlier this week has been cleared to return to full duty. K-9 Deputy Chaos has returned back to service after he was found 3 days ago. The deputy got lost in the woods while tracking a suspect. Columbia County Sheriff's Office says Chaos now wears a collar with a GPS tracker along with all other K-9 deputies. Sheriff Mark Hunter says he appreciated the community support received through the extensive search. And it's almost October, and National Crime Prevention Month is approaching. Marion County Sheriff's Office is reminding citizens about its tip service called Text-a-Tip. The hotline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to report any illegal activity or concerning behavior. Anyone can also text the word Marion to 352-900-3161. Tips remain anonymous.
And as we head into the weekend, I sure hope the weather we had this week continues to be so nice.
Oh, me too. I'm excited to get outside, but these clouds are kind of worrying me. WUFT's Julia Haley will join us now with the weather forecast.
Serra, Sandra, we've had those cloudy skies, but those showers really staying just south of Alachua County, especially in Marion County, watching those showers kind of move toward the east and clear up toward I-95. And outside of our studio, seeing that same exact thing as we're seeing those clouds kind of form, and they're going to continue to roll in throughout this weekend. 85 degrees feels like 90 with some northeasterly winds. And our temperature sitting in the mid 80s for our evening. 85 for Gainesville, 81 Ocala, 82 Palatka, and even 82 for Jacksonville. So continuing to stay in those mid 80s. And your headlines for our forecast, we have those clouds rolling in for tonight with those showers possible for the weekend. So I'll keep you updated on your weekend plans a little bit later. Back to you.
The Archer branch of the Alachua County Library District is reopening on Saturday after months of renovations. The branch has doubled in size to about 6,300 square feet. The renovations include a quiet reading room, study room, children's area, a teen zone, and larger meeting room. The ribbon cutting will give those attending the opportunity to explore the library through walking tours.
And coming up on WUFT News is First at 5, Florida's minimum wage is now on the rise.
And we'll tell you more about the life of the longest serving Senate member.
That and more after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Florida's minimum wage workers are about to get a boost. WUFT's Kennedy Chambers joins us to explain when these workers will see a big change to their paychecks. Kennedy?
The Florida minimum wage is increasing starting tomorrow. The new minimum wage will rise to $12 an hour. This follows the previous increase to $11 in 2022. Voters approved Amendment 2 in 2020 to slowly increase the minimum wage to $15 by 2026. The minimum wage will increase by $1 every year until 2026. Reporting live from the newsroom, Kennedy Chambers, WUFT News. Wage will adjust for inflation annually starting in 2027. Kennedy Chambers, WUFT News.
And the longest-serving female U.S. Senator, Dianne Feinstein, dies at 90. She served 3 decades in the Senate, where she advocated for gun control. NBC's Andrea Mitchell has more on the life and legacy of Senator Feinstein.
Dianne Feinstein, a leading woman senator for generations, whose political career in California was launched by tragedy. November 1978. San Francisco Mayor George Moscone and Board of Supervisors member Harvey Milk were assassinated in City Hall. Then Board of Supervisors President Dianne Feinstein tried desperately to save Milk's life.
Both Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk have been shot and killed.
The event cementing her passion for gun reform. She was elected mayor and became a national figure on Democratic nominee Walter Mondale's shortlist for running mate before he chose Geraldine Ferraro.
I've had an opportunity now to be the first woman and the first mayor to be asked to go through an interview process. And I view that as a major opening of a door and something that's very important to do.
It was the Clarence Thomas hearings before an all-male Senate Judiciary Committee in 1991 that got Feinstein to the Senate, as she recalled in 2018.
And what did I see but an all-male Senate Judiciary Committee grilling Anita Hill? And it was not nice, and it was not what one would like to see. And that was my incentive to run in 1992.
After her decisive Senate win, then-Senator Joe Biden made her the first woman on the Judiciary Committee. In Congress, she quickly made an impact, leading the charge for an assault weapons ban in 1994. As Senate Intelligence Chair, she took on the CIA's waterboarding of prisoners, holding hearings into the Bush administration's harsh interrogation techniques. But in later years, colleagues faulted her performance during Supreme Court confirmations, praising Republican Lindsey Graham for getting Trump nominee Amy Coney Barrett confirmed just weeks before the 2020 election.
This has been one of the best set of hearings that I've participated in.
But through political and personal trials, Dianne Feinstein's legacy as a trailblazer endures. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
And a new bill proposed in the Florida legislature could change bear hunting regulations. House Bill 87 would allow people to shoot at black bears without a permit in self-defense if they feel threatened. The legislation would restrict people from keeping or selling any part of the bear, and they cannot lure the animals into an area. The bill comes as there have been increasing reports of black bear interactions, including a sighting at Disney's Magic Kingdom last month. If passed, the bill would take effect July 1st of next year. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission estimates the current population is at 4,000 bears statewide.
It's looking a little cloudy outside. Do you think I'll need my rain jacket for tonight's soccer game that we're headed to?
Yeah, it is cloudy, but WUFT's forecaster, Julia Haley, has the forecast for us.
Yeah,
Julia?
Luckily for that soccer game, we won't need a rain jacket or an umbrella, and you'll be safe from those showers tonight. But starting this weekend, you may want to change your plans. I'll let you know when you can expect the most rain for your weekend after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
We're tracking those showers as they leave Marion County and make their way toward I-95. But here in Gainesville, really just seeing those cloudy skies for the evening. Seeing those clouds build up throughout the evening as well. 86 degrees, feels just a little bit warmer at 90 degrees for our heat index. And temperatures sitting all around the mid and lower 80s for our Friday. So 81 Palatka, 84 Gainesville, and even 84 for Lake City. And if you're going out tonight, you're just going to see those cloudy skies with a chance for some possible rain, and dropping into the lower 70s throughout the evening and into the morning, with your Saturday morning lows sitting in those low 70s as well, and even the upper 60s in some areas like Stark and Lake City. And for your Saturday, we're going to sit with those highs in the mid 80s, a chance for showers as well for your evening, as those showers are going to build up not just on Friday in South Florida, but also we'll see those showers remaining for your Saturday as well, as a stationary front sits throughout the state of Florida. And for future rain, going to see not that much at all as our forecast keeps getting updated throughout this evening, and that moisture really going to affect most of South Florida. If anything, we'll just be seeing light rain for our weekend. So for Saturday, seeing that high in the mid 80s, and Sunday as well. And then after that, we're seeing our tropical outlook. We have these two systems, Rena and Philippe, which will both go northward. And for our muggy meter, really staying sweltering, but then we'll see some more nice conditions throughout the end of the week and into next week, going to sit around that humid and even possibly pleasant condition. And for your 7-day outlook, we'll see that chance for showers on Saturday, and then we're going to clear up just a little bit with those sunny skies and rise back into the 90s. Back to you.
Well, it certainly looks like we're going to avoid some of that rain tonight, Julia. Thank you. As we head towards high school football tonight, fields across north central Florida are preparing. You can see in the screen behind us, a couple clouds in the sky, but looks like we should be good. In just a little bit, we're going to take a look at some high school football and preview a couple of those matchups, much more after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports, everyone. I'm Chris Will. Friday night has arrived, which means the lights are on and high school football is back in action all across north central Florida. WFT's Rafael De Los Santos is live at PK Young, where the Blue Wave look to bounce back from a blowout loss just last week.
That's right, Chris. After kicking off their season with back-to-back wins, it's been anything but smooth sailing for the Blue Wave. The last time they took this field, their biggest defeat of the season against an undefeated Hawthorne Hornets. Just 1 week from that loss, and it's a tale of two cities. Where Hawthorne came in with a perfect 4-0 record, this Santa Fe Raiders team is still looking for their first win. Despite their loss to the Gainesville Hurricanes last time out, Santa Fe's offense showed signs of an improving pass game starring quarterback Eric Hockman and wideout Matthew Johnson. Though the Raiders were on the wrong end of that scoreline, Santa Fe put up 21 points, their highest point tally of this season. Santa Fe is 0-5, PK Young is 2-2. While one team is looking for their first win this season, the other is looking to get on the win column. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. Reporting live from the PK Young 25-yard line, Rafael De Los Santos, WUFT News. Now we head across town to Daniel Habib, who has more on another local matchup.
I'm here at Citizens Field, where tonight the struggling Gainesville Hurricanes and Menendez Falcons will face off. The Hurricanes and Falcons haven't had the smoothest of starts, with both teams earning only 1 win in their first 5 games. Gainesville's single win of the season was last week when they routed Santa Fe 49-21. The Hurricanes will look to use the momentum from that dominant victory tonight. Menendez's offense hasn't put up more than 12 points in any game this season. Their defense has also allowed 30-plus points in their last 3 games. Kickoff for tonight's game is set for 7 p.m. Reporting from Citizens Field, Daniel Haviv, WUFT News.
And taking a look across north central Florida, undefeated Oak Hall hosts Eagles View at 7. 4-0 Bradford welcomes Keystone Heights to town at 7. And Columbia searches for their first win against Orange Park at 7:30. And last night, the Eastside Rams offense put up 42 points on the North Marion Colts, all while their defense kept the Colts off the scoreboard. Eastside moves to 3-2 and currently sits atop the District 7 standings. And Florida Gators football is back in action tomorrow in Lexington. The last time out, the Gators got the win against the Charlotte 49ers, 22-7. Not a pretty win, but a win nonetheless. Now Florida turns their attention to Kentucky, a matchup they haven't won since 2020, dropping 3 of the last 5 against the Wildcats. It's something head coach Billy Napier hopes to turn around by keeping turnovers to a minimum and forcing a few of their own.
And when you play Kentucky, I think the number of snaps go down a little bit, because of the way they play offense. So I think each possession counts. And certainly takeaways are more impactful the fewer possessions there are in the game, right? So, we know turnover margin. In this league, if you win the turnover margin, you win 3 out of 4 games.
Florida quarterback Graham Mertz has only thrown 1 interception, but the Gator defense has only gotten 1 pick so far this season. Kickoff for tomorrow's matchup is set for noon. And Gator soccer returns to the pitch tomorrow night against the tonight against the LSU Tigers. The trip to Baton Rouge comes 5 days after Florida got their first point of SEC play against the Kentucky Wildcats. The story of this season has been the Florida defense. The Gators' back line has kept opponents to just 5 shots per game. Florida, on the other hand, about 11 per game. Despite the 4-3-3 record, the Gators have allowed less than 1 goal per game, which ranks 5th in the SEC. The problem, though, Florida averages just 1.6 goals per game, which puts them at 10th in the conference. Tonight's matchup against LSU is set for 7 p.m. And that's all for sports. I'm Chris Will. Over to you, Julia.
Before we go, one last check on the weather to Julia. So if you're planning your weekend,
you want to watch out for those showers, especially around the afternoon for your Saturday and also for your Sunday. And take a look at the rest of your week. We are looking at those sunny skies starting around Monday, around the next work week, and also dropping into the mid-80s, but rising back up by the end of next week. So we're seeing those highs sitting in the 80s and even the 90s, feeling a little bit more like summer by the end of next week. But we'll be seeing those showers mostly on Saturday and a little bit on Sunday as well, and also leading into next week. Back to you.
Thanks, Julia. BBC World News is next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
But your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. Have a good night.